want to start out foremost by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Kadesh. Salutation to the elders and apostles of GMS groups, someone's alike, teacher and present true. Shalom, Baruch to them for the edification and knowledge. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS groups, someone's alike, teacher and present true. Shalom, Baruch to them. Give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Kadesh. Tonight's lesson, I want to talk about a little bit of forgotten history. This relates to 8 forgotten capitals of the United States. This is history.com, updated August 22nd, 2018. Originally July 16, 2015 article related to history of capitals. This is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After the Continental Congress met inside of Philadelphia's Carpenter Hall in 1774, it resembled the following spring inside the Pennsylvania State House, now known as Independence Hall, where it adopted the Declaration of Independence. On July 4, 1776, Philadelphia had various stints as the home of the Continental Congress and its successor under the Articles of Confederation, which was enacted in 1781. As stipulated by the Residential Act, Philadelphia served as a temporary capital of the United States of America between 1790 and 1800 while Washington, D.C. was being built. Number 2, Baltimore, Maryland. As the British troops closed in on Philadelphia at the end of 1776, the Continental Congress decided to abandon the city and flee south to the safer haven of Baltimore, bypassing the city's own courthouse. Delegates instead convened on December 20th, 1776, inside the spacious house in the tavern of Henry Fight. The 3-story brick building, redubbed Congress Hall, was among the largest in Baltimore and outside the possible artillery round of the British Navy, ruined by 2 fireplaces inside the house's long chamber. Delegates learned of Washington's crossing of the Delaware River and his surprise victories at Trenton and Princeton. With the British threat to Philadelphia blunted, the Continental Congress reconvened inside the Independence Hall on March 4th, 1777. The fire destroyed the Henry Fight House in 1904. Let's continue on. This is number 3, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The present-day heart of Amish country was once the heart of America's government. If only for a day in the late summer of 1777, the Redcoats again advanced on Philadelphia, and after Washington's disastrous defeat at the Battle of Brandywine on September 11, 1777, the Continental Congress evacuated cities. Delegates fled 65 miles to the west on September 27, 1777, met inside Lancaster's county courthouse, faced with the difficulties of finding suitable lodgers and continued concerns about their safety. The delegates' official business consisted mainly of deciding how quickly they could leave Lancaster. After the legislative equivalent of a cup of coffee, the Continental Congress adjourned its one-day session inside the courthouse, which was destroyed by a fire in 1780, and continued to move west. 4. York, Pennsylvania, finding a more secure position 25 miles west of Lancaster behind the Susquehanna River. The Continental Congress convened inside the York County Courthouse on September 30th, 1777. During the government's 9-month stay in the central Pennsylvania hamlet, it approved the Articles of Confederation, which took effect after its 1781 ratification by the states, and signed the Allegiance Treaty with France, and after receiving in June 1778 that the British had evacuated Philadelphia, the Continental Congress returned to the city and found Independence Hall left in a most filthy and sordid situation, according to New Hampshire delegate Joshua Bartlett. Number Number 5. This is Princeton, New Jersey. Nearly 2 years after 1781 victory at the Yorktown, the American government was once again forced to flee its regular home in Philadelphia. Only this time, it wasn't the British threatened the delicate safety, but frustrated Continental Army's soldiers demanding the back pay they had been promised in order that further and more effectual measures may be taken for suppressing the present revolt. In maintaining dignity and authority of the United States delegate decided in the summer of 1783 to move 40 miles northeast to the campus of the College of New Jersey, known as Princeton University. The Congress of the Confederation met inside Nassau Hall, the nation's largest academic building, which ironically had been bombarded by Patriot troops during 1777 Battle of Princeton. During its 4-month stay inside the enormous stone building, which still stands on the Princeton's campus, the United States government received its first foreign minister, a diplomat from the Netherlands, as well as word of the signing of the Treaty of Paris, which formally ended the American Revolution. Number 6, Annapolis, Maryland. Continuing to avoid Philadelphia, the nomadic Congress continued its travels to Maryland capital. Under a leaky dome of the still unfinished Maryland State House, delegates first convened on November 26, 1783, inside the Senate chamber. Washington resigned as commander-in-chief of the Confederate Army on December 23, 1783, to return to Mount Vernon as a private citizen. Congress also ratified the Treaty of Paris in Annapolis on January 14, 1784. Before leaving the Maryland capital in August 1784, Maryland State House remains the oldest state capital in continuous legislative use. Washington's personal copy of his resignation speech is on display in its rotunda. Number 7. This is Trenton, New Jersey. The Congress of Confederation ensured plenty of spirited debates by making its next home in the French Arms Tavern, the largest building in the future New Jersey state capital. Delegates first convened in 3-story-high structures leased by New Jersey legislature on November 1st, 1784. Beyond a farewell address by Marquis de Lafayette, little business of note took place before the Congress adjourned on Christmas Eve and decided to move on to New York City. Building returned to its use as a tavern before being razed in 1837 to make room for a bank. Number 8, New York City. January 1785, Congress of Confederation convened in New York City's old City Hall on Wall Street. For more than 5 years, Gotham served as the seat of American power. After the ratification of the United States Constitution, delegates met briefly as at Froyant's Tavern, as the old City Hall was remodeled to become the first Capitol building for the new national government. On the second floor balcony of the newly renamed Federal Hall, Washington took the oath of office as the first president of the United States, April 30th, 1789. The statue of Washington overlooking Wall Street now stands outside a reconstruction of Federal Hall. Now, this is an article relating to History Channel. News. 8 forgotten capitals of the United States.
Okay, now
I'm going to put some scriptures. I'm going to read some scriptures. I'm going to go to Job 9:24. This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges. Therefore, if not, where or who is he? The earth is given to the hands of the wicked. That's the ones who are in power and ruling right now. And the face of the judges, he covered, it relates to the nation of Israel. Now it's the wicked, the ones who have the power. This is their time. This is their rulership. I'm going to go to Micah 2:10. I want to go to Micah 2:2, Shalakia. Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. That relates to the wicked, the ones who's in rulership and power. And this is a warning relating to the wicked. And they covet fields and take them by violence in the houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's what they have done. Because the power is in their hands, and because of related to the blessing, which is that sword, and they use the sword to pretty much take everything they want, at their choosing. And that relates to resources, lands, and even a person's heritage. They cover history, and they took a nation's identity and their heritage. Their heritage goes back to who they are, and also goes back to their place as well. And pretty much they pose to be them, in the first place. So that relates to the wicked, man. And this relates to Yahweh against relating to the wicked ones in power. I want to go to let me go to Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. I'm going to do a few verses. That's because the main point is just talking about forgotten history relating to capitals. Because one time, Philadelphia was the temporary capital of the United States from 1790 to 1800. So that's just one of the many background histories relating to Philadelphia. Let's go back to the scriptures. Let's go to it was a temporary capital until D.C. was built in the 1800s, which would be the nation's capital. All right. Let's go to Let's go to 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Unrighteous dealings, injuries to people, relates to exploiting certain people, causing injury upon them, and riches gotten by deceit, by fraud, deception, trickery. Because remember, power has been given in the hands of the wicked, so their blessings the sword. So with the sword, they pretty much can take anything. You know what I mean? As they choose to. I'm going to read it again. Because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That's a nice word to saying that things were pretty much stripped violently from one kingdom to another by using that sword to do it. This was just a few verses, nothing, too heavy. So this was this a little history, forgotten history. Give all praise. That being said, I'll give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rakadish. Salutation to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones alike. Teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barakathum to them for their edification and knowledge. Give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rakadish. Shalom, thanks.